Morning. Morning too. So, the observant amongst you will have noticed that I've missed a couple of 5-hourly updates. So I think the last one I gave was about 20 hours. So you've not had 25 and 30. And I know you're on tenterhooks, so what the hell's been going on? Well, the usual combination, I suppose. But I'll come on to the one that I think I'm finding most intriguing, actually, from a mental perspective. So usual, get fed up with drinks. So I've been running light when it comes to fluids for a little while, and felt particularly ropey during the middle of the night. That was coupled with sort of quite a lot of effort required, staying upright, staying motivated, not wanting to crawl under a bush and cry, because actually the weather wasn't that bad, but it was bad enough when you've been on the go for 24 hours plus, energy levels are not quite where they would need to be, etc, etc. And that's had consequences today, so, you know, large chunk of the kit still wet. So when I sorted out my feet, new blister on the heel of my foot, bottom of the heel of my foot, which I've never had before. So I've around my sides, but not around the bottom. So there you go, another one down to experience. But as soon as I put my trainers on, everything nice and dry, ready to go, and yeah, it's almost like you know, walking around with a couple of buckets on. So fortunately the next checkpoint, which is the 100-mile one, I've got what have I got? I've got a spare pair of trainers, so well, at least for a period, although they say it's meant to dry out again today, have dry feet again, which will be wonderful. So the third bit, the bit that was most intriguing, I suppose, was around sleep. So, cast your mind back, Monarch's Way just did not get that right at all. And this time I was under very, very strict instructions to sort myself out and get that sorted. So it's funny how these things sort of worm their way into your subconscious. So I always knew I wasn't going to sleep on the first night, particularly bearing in mind that we had an 8 o'clock start, 8 o'clock in the evening start. So night 2 was always going to be when I was going to sleep, and that, just looking at the timings and everything else, was almost certainly going to be 9. But of course I had to get to Knighton, and all the aforementioned weather, blah blah blah, everything else, but in a way that I haven't done on races where I've gone through 2 nights before. Just felt exhausted, just felt so sleepy. The good side of that is that actually when I did get in, did get my dust bag out, etc, then actually sleep came relatively easily. I don't think I got the full 2 hours that I sort of penciled in, but was a long way towards that. So that was obviously good news. So here we are, still going. I mean, I have to admit, last night, I wouldn't necessarily say it was touch and go, but sort of my motivation for carrying on with the battle was probably at a bit of a low ebb, to say the least. But we're still in, so that's good news. We're battling on. We'll soon get to the 100-mile mark, which currently says 150k, which is slightly over, a couple of bits of bonus miles, etc. But you know, and get to 100 miles and it's all downhill from there. Always going to have less to do than I've already done. Isn't that a magnificent thing? So more later, hopefully. Whether or not we keep to the 5-hour cycle that we started yesterday, who knows. Not going in with my little head. So wait and see. Okay, cheers, bye bye.